So quick, as the senator said, I was in the Marine Corps and the Army. I served my first 7 years with the Marine Corps, and then I had this really stupid idea. I wanted to jump out of airplanes, so I left the Marine Corps and joined the Army. Joined the infantry with the 82nd Airborne. While I was in the Army, I got to go to Afghanistan. And while I was over Afghanistan, I got to serve with some of the greatest people I've ever met on both sides. Here with American soldiers, I met some of the greatest people in my life. A lot of them didn't get to come back. Also, the Afghanistan Army, when we think about Afghanistan, we think about a bunch of terrorists who are trying to kill us, and that's not 100% true. Over there's a different culture of soldiers who are fighting the same thing we're fighting. They want their country back. So when I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about today, I don't want to talk about myself and my service and whatnot. I wanted to talk about veterans as a whole. Every generation has fought in a war. And every week I get to meet veterans from different eras of different wars. I get to meet with a World War II guy. Every Wednesday comes in and talks to me. Korean War, Vietnam, Persian Gulf, and a global war on terror. And I love getting to sit down and talk with these World War II and Korea and Vietnam folks because although they served 70 years before me, their stories are very similar to what I went through. We ate the same horrible food. Our feet always smelled. We got yelled at a lot. A lot of similar stories. But when it comes down to the combat, a lot of their stories and a lot of their struggles are very similar to what I experienced. So I'm going to ask you, how many folks out there have somebody in their family, mother, father, grandfather, aunt, uncle, brother, somebody that's in the military? If you could, just raise your hand. I'll keep them up real quick. For those who don't have their hand up, how about a neighbor, a friend, one of your parents' friend? Just about everybody's got their hands up. Go ahead and put it down. The reason I ask that is how often do you ask them about their service, what they did? Don't ask them the questions, did you kill somebody? Don't ask them that. Because if you ask me that, I'm going to tell you, not yet today, but it's still early. That's the only answer you're going to get out of me. Don't ask them stuff like that, but ask them about what they did. And the reason I say that is because especially these World War II and Korea folks, they're getting a little long in age. And if you don't take a chance to sit down and listen to what they say and what they went through, that piece of history is going to die. And as you get older, you're going to wonder, especially the ones that were in your family, I wonder, Grandpa never talked about what he did in Korea or Vietnam or whatnot. As you get a little older, you might wonder, you'll never know. If you ask them to talk about it and they don't want to, respect that. And just thank them. But, maybe each year just ask them, hey, can you tell me a little bit? Because what was neat is I always sit down, if I see somebody with a veteran wearing a hat or a shirt, I walk up and just thank them for their service. And if I get a chance to talk to them, I'm going to talk to them whether I've known them for 30 seconds or 30 years. For example, my good friend here, Joe Peck, we sat out here on the bench because we had both got here an hour early. Sit down and talk. What's one thing about veterans? You sit down and get them talking, they're going to talk. His stories are very similar to mine. Very amazing man. Also, when you get thinking about it, it's not just the veterans that struggle. I have a family, a wife and kids. I've been through a lot. I was in the hospital for 14 months, and I got a lot of struggles that sometimes I'm not the nicest of person. Sometimes things set me off. And who suffers from that? Not me. It's my wife and kids. In fact, 2 of my kids go to the school, and one of them is in this auditorium. She's here in the back, Caitlin. Sometimes she does something stupid because she's a teenage girl, and I yell at her. But she gets yelled at twice as much because of things that I've experienced. I take things a little further. So when you get a chance, think about the families. Right now, there's tens of thousands of people deployed in the combat zone, and who's left behind is his wife and kids. Those kids don't understand what's going on, and they don't know. It's scary for them. Their mother or father is in harm's way. That's a lot for a kid to think about. So you get a chance, a kid in this school whose family is in the military, if they're deployed and they're not acting right, think about that, all right? Something might be going on. Be a friend to them. Talk to them. You know, just hang out with them. So a little bit about my story and my struggle is, it was in Afghanistan on March 5th, 2007, and we got told that there was a commander for the Taliban in the next town over, and I was a platoon sergeant and in charge. I said, well, let's go get him. That's what we do. I always told my guys that we're going to go play Call of Duty. So it was 12:05 at night. We rolled down a road, and something didn't feel right. And I was in, we were in 4 trucks. How to explain it? We had 4 trucks, and I was in this 3rd truck, and something didn't feel right. So I pulled my guy out of the front truck, and I took that front truck because if anybody's going to get hurt, I wanted it to be me. Well, sure enough, I ran over 2 anti-tank mines, and I blew myself up. And I don't remember much after that, except that I woke up about 6 weeks later in the hospital. They had my leg wrapped up because they were getting ready to take it off. And I couldn't think straight because I had scrambled my brain. It took me 14 months to get out of that hospital. I still have my leg, but it's pretty messed up. So during my 14 months, I was at Walter Reed, and then I went to a different hospital, and I got to see a lot of people hurt. A lot of families who came to pick up their loved ones who didn't make it. It's a very sobering fact to see somebody come pick up their loved one. And I decided when I got out, I got a job as a bank. I want to get out and help people. That's what we do. But the only job I can get was at a bank, being a bank manager. And made a lot of money doing that for about 6 months and hated every second of it. I didn't feel like I was serving people. I wasn't helping people, and I quit that job. Walked in on Friday and just quit. And after that, I took a job at half the pay, but I was helping the homeless veterans. I had to help veterans and their families who were homeless. And with that, I grew a little bit, and now I get to be the county director. And I get to sit down. It's one of the best things I've ever done in my life, get to sit down and help veterans with their struggles. A lot of these veterans out there are struggling with post-traumatic stress disorder, alcoholism, drugs, homelessness, can't find jobs, and whatnot. And we're lucky to have leaders, elected leaders, who fight for our veterans. And when you guys get a chance to help a veteran out, help them out, help their families out, and whatnot.